kasi. Hindi malamig. Papasok na yung galan. Sabihin natin kay auntie mamaya sa auntie, yellow na kami. Auntie gloves. Nandiyan kaya si Sir Santana? Pero walang araw yung ano ko sa langit ko nag-change ng color. Kahit walang araw. Oh, malamig. Go up. Come on, jump. Step ka dyan. Go. Go. Step ka doon. Go na. Come on, up. Sige, step ka dyan. Step, go up. Come on, up. Up na. Come on. Isa na. Ang galing.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
I want to be just like my big sister. She's on the soccer team, she volunteers at the library, and she works so
Drinking
hard in
warm water
school.
before bed helps release fat while you sleep. Apparently, thousands of people are already doing this.
What pair do you have to get? Start learning today at iXL.com.
Select sleeping first. Or let us recall. So let me say sine, cosine, and tangent. Basically, we have this one. So you remember sine, so what does a theta mean? So let's start with sine. So sine theta means opposite. Tangent is TOA. So opposite over adjacent. Okay, so it's a TOA. Now let us answer the following question. So this is question number 1. Determine the length of side M given angle A which is 54 degrees. Okay, so this is 54 degrees. So I will label my angle A, which is this one. Okay, my angle A daw is 54 degrees. And then my side A, now how do we get A? So side A is the side opposite angle A. Okay? So if you will look at it, okay, this is A. So its opposite side is this one. Okay? So that would be my
Come and make
side
this
A.
wet caramel cake with me. We're going to
So
start
my
off with a
side A
layer of
is
vanilla cake
3.4.
mix. After that,
And
I am
then
going
we
to
need to
use
find side
this
M. So how do we
tool.
get side M? So
There's a
this is
little
M.
more
Its
caramel.
opposite side is
The
that.
cake tool that you gave me.
This
We're
is
going to
my
start off
side
with a layer of vanilla cake.
Okay. So after determining and labeling the triangle, the next thing that you have to determine is to which function you will use. Okay, so how you do that? You base your answer on the given angle. Okay. So my given angle is 54. So with respect to angle 54, this will be my opposite side because it is opposite, okay, of the angle. So that's opposite and this is adjacent. Okay. Take note that the side that is opposite the 90 angle is always the hypotenuse. Okay, so since the hypotenuse is not a part of the problem, we just ignore it. So we will use opposite and adjacent. Okay, now opposite and adjacent. So which table function will we use? Very good. So that would be tangent. Okay, so we will use tangent theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So my angle is 54. So tangent 54 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 3.4 over the adjacent side, which is m. Okay, so once you formulate your working equation, you just solve it. Okay, so how do we solve it? So in this case, we multiply both equation by m. Okay, so that m here will be cancelled. So I will have m tangent 54 degrees is equal to 3.4. Then how will we solve for m? Okay. So here we divide both sides by tangent 54 degrees. So that tangent 54 degrees will be cancelled. So our working equation now will become m equals 3.4 over tangent 54 degrees. Okay. Now take note. Here your calculator should be in degree mode. Okay. So how will you determine if it is in degree mode? You will see in your calculator, the upper part of it, you'll see D, or in some calculators, it's written there. Okay. So you just check how to change your calculator into D or degree mode. Okay, and then you just calculate it. So 3.4 divided by tangent 54. Okay, so here you will get an answer of 2.47. Okay, so this will be our final answer. We always follow the direction. It says your final answer should be rounded off in 2 decimal places. Okay, so so our final answer is 2.47. Okay, so let us discuss question number 2. So here I have triangle PRS. So angle R is the right angle. Okay, so determine the length of side R. Okay, now let us determine first, where is side R? Okay, so this is the opposite of angle R. Okay, this is my R, which is unknown. If side S equals 4.8, so this is angle S, so its opposite is S. So side S is equal to 4.8. Okay, and then answer should be rounded off into decimal places. Okay, so after labeling the parts of the triangle, we now determine
Hi, John. What did you do this morning?
I woke up.
Oh, that's great. That's
You wake up, good morning, is a brand new day. The skies above is a perfect day.
these sides with respect to angle 29. Okay, so this is our angle 29, so this is our theta. Okay, so again, we always start with the hypotenuse, determine the hypotenuse. So in this case, the hypotenuse is the side that is opposite the right angle. Okay, it is actually also the longest side. So this is our hypotenuse. And then with respect to angle S, because S is the given side. Okay, so S is the opposite because it's opposite the angle 29. Okay, so this is the opposite side and this is the adjacent. Okay, adjacent means near to the given angle, side near or at the side of the given angle. Okay, but then since adjacent is not part of the problem, we just ignore it. Okay, so we get through. Now, you determine which table function involve both the opposite and the hypotenuse. Very good. Opposite and hypotenuse is for the table function sine. Okay, so sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So my sine theta is equal to opposite, which is 4.8 over the hypotenuse, which is r. Okay, and then let's just focus in our working equation. Okay, so here, the next step is for us to solve for r. Okay, so we multiply both sides by r. So guys, this is the long method, okay? But if you get the technique on how to solve for r, you may go to that step already. So this is r sine theta is equal to 4.6 because r here will be cancelled. Okay, and then you solve for r. So we divide both sides by sine theta. Okay, now I forgot to write my angle. My angle is by sine 29 degrees. So that we're left with R. So R is 4.8 over sine 29 degrees. So we know solve. Okay, so we just got 4.8 divided by sine 29 degrees. So the answer will be 9.9 because it should be into decimal place. Okay, so this will be our final answer. Okay, so let's go to example number 3. So what if you're asked to find the measure of angle H? Okay, given the triangle hash. It's ASH. So let us look for angle H. So this is our angle H. Okay, so this one is unknown. Now let us determine the given sides based on angle H. Okay, so based on angle H, always opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. Okay, and then the given side S is adjacent to angle H. So this is adjacent. Okay, and then we determine what legal function involves adjacent and hypotenuse. So that would be cosine. Okay, so cosine theta is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, so we will just substitute. So cosine, our angle is H, it's unknown. Okay. Adjacent is 4.3, hypotenuse is 9.2. Okay, now, how do we solve for H? Okay, so here we just get the inverse of the function. So our function is cosine. So our angle H will be solved using arc cosine of 4.3 over 9.2. Okay, now in our calculator, how do you get the inverse of the arc cosine? So you just press, there's a function there that is shift. Okay, or in the other calculators, it says second function. Second F. Okay, it means second function. And then you just press cosine. Okay, so shift or second function and then cosine. Okay, so let us now solve. So angle H is equal to, so press shift cosine and then you just type in 4.3 divided by 9.2. Okay, so here you'll get 62.30. So this is the solution for question number 2. Okay, so this will be the last example for this video. If you have any question, feel free to message me. Good day, guys. So today we will discuss how to find the equation of the line using the intercept form. Okay, so what is the intercept form of equation of the line? So it is written in the form x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. A here is the x-intercept. So when we say x-intercept, y is 0 and you have a value for x. So it is a point that is found along the x-axis. And b is the y-intercept. So in this case, our x coordinate is 0. Okay, and then we have the value for the y coordinate. So it's 0, y, and it is a point that is found on the y-axis. So let us have the following questions. Determine the general location of the line with integer coefficient. Here a is greater than 0, meaning a is positive, satisfying the following conditions. Question number 1. Has x-intercept of -5 and y-intercept of 2? Okay, so how do we do that? The first thing that we have to do is to start with the given formula. So that would be x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. Don't forget that it is equal to 1. Okay? So it says here the x-intercept is -5. So our a is -5 and y-intercept, which is b, is 2. Okay, so we will just substitute. So x over -5 plus y over 2 is equal to 1. And then we multiply them by the LCD. Okay, so that is a number that is divisible by 5 and 2. So I'll multiply both sides by 10. Okay, so what will happen is 10 multiplied to x over -5 plus 10 multiplied to x or y over 2 is equal to 1 times 10. Okay, so here 10 and -5 will be cancelled. Okay, so we will have -2. So -2x, and then 10 and 2 will be cancelled, so that will be 5 is equal to 1 times 10, which is 10. Okay, take note that for general equation of the line, the a should be positive. A is the coefficient of x. Okay, so we multiply the whole thing by negative. This will become 2x minus 5y is equal to negative 10. Okay, and then we will just add 10 to both sides or transpose negative 10. So that's 2x minus 5y plus 10 is equal to 0. Okay, then you always check the coefficients. 2, 5, and 10, they are not divisible by a certain number. Okay, so this will be our final answer. Question number 2. Has x-intercept of 3 and y-intercept of -4 over 7? So in this case, our a is 3 and our b is -4 over 7. So that will be x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. Okay, so it's x over 3 plus y over -4 over 7 is equal to 1. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do here is to fix the second term. So that would be x over 3 plus y should be okay, y times, now we get the reciprocal of -4 over 7. Don't forget that reciprocal is you interchange the numerator and the denominator. So it's -7 over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so I'll just copy x over 3. Then the second term now will become minus So for negative, so minus 7 over 4 y is equal to 1. Okay, now look at the denominator. We have 3 and 4. So you think of the smallest number that is divisible by 3 and 4. Okay, so that would be very good. That would be 12. So we multiply both sides by 3. So I'll just show you how to distribute 12 to each term. So that would be 12 times x over 3 minus 12 times 7 over 4y is equal to 1 times 12. So here, 12 and 3 will be cancelled. So 3 will become 1, 12 will become 4. So I have 4x. Then 12 and 4 will be cancelled. 4 is 1, 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then we multiply 3 and 7, which is 21. Is equal to 12. Okay, and then we will just transpose 12. So we'll have 4x minus 21y minus 12 is equal to 0. Okay, so our a is positive 4. Then 4, 21, and 12, they are not divisible by a certain number. So this will be our final answer. Question number 3. Passing through 0, 7 and negative 1/3 0. Okay, so how do we answer this one? Okay, so here we have a value for y, which is 7. Okay, so 7 is our, because this is x and y, right? Okay, so 7 is our b, or our y intercept. Okay, and then this is x and y. Okay, so our y is 0. Therefore, negative 1/3 is our x-intercept. So x-intercept is a, that's negative 1/3. Okay, and then again, we will just use our formula. Okay, so our formula is x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. So that is x over negative 1/3 plus y over b, which is 7, is equal to 1. Okay, so in this case, we have to fix the first term. Okay, so our first term will become x times the reciprocal of negative 1/3, which is negative 3 over 1. Then copy the rest. Okay, and then we'll just simplify the first term. So x times negative 3 over 1 is negative 3x, then plus y over 7 is equal to 1. Okay, so here we multiply both sides by 7 because 7 is our only denominator. So we have 7 times negative 3x plus 7 times y over 7 is equal to 1 times 7. Okay, and then let's simplify. So negative 21x plus 7 will be cancelled. So we're left with y is equal to 7. Okay, now since our a is negative, so we multiply all of them by negative 1. So we're left with 21x minus y is equal to negative 7. And then we transpose negative 7. So our final answer will become 21x minus y plus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so this will be our final answer. Okay, so this is our last example. So passing through 1/0 and 0 3/4. Okay, so let us determine which is the x and which is the y-intercept. Okay, so this one is x0. Okay, so this will be our x-intercept. Okay, so 1/2 is x-intercept, and x-intercept is a. So this is 0 and y. Okay, so 3/4 is our y-intercept. Okay, now let us use the formula x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. So that would be x over 1/2 plus y over 3/4 is equal to 1. And then let us fix the equation. So x times reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1 plus y times reciprocal is 4 over 3 is equal to 1. Then we will rewrite it as 2x plus 4 over 3y is equal to 1. We now multiply it by the LCD, which is 3. Okay. So our working equation will become 3 times 2x plus 3 times 4 over 3y is equal to 1 times 3. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6x plus the 3 will be cancelled. So we have 4y is equal to 1 times 3, which is, so our final answer will become 6x plus 4y minus 3 is equal to 0. This will be our final answer. Good day, class. This is day 2 of our lesson in solving trigonometric equations. So before we start, let me have the following reminders. First, always check and use the given interval. Second is you have to factor correctly. Yes, you will need your knowledge in factoring in this topic. And third, when you see expressions such as sine squared theta, this means sine theta squared. Okay, so let's start with example number 1. Given the interval theta is greater than 0 degrees but is less than or equal to 360 degrees, find the exact solution to the equation 7 cosine theta plus 13 equals 6 cosine theta plus 12. Okay, so here, so that you don't get confused, I will let the function cosine theta be equal to the variable a. Okay, and then my equation will become 7a plus 13 is equal to 6a plus 12. And then we just solve for a. So I'll have 7a minus 6a is equal to 12 minus 13. So my a is equal to negative 1. Okay, after getting the value of a, you substitute back cosine theta. So I'll have cosine theta is equal to negative 1. Now, you recall our lesson about special angles or quadrantal angles. So, what value of theta will give you the value of cosine, which is negative 1? Okay, so here we have the quadrantal angles, right? So our theta here is equal to, very good, 180 degrees. Okay, so 180 degrees will be our answer for question number 1. correct. Okay, so let's do the checking. We just substitute theta in the given equation. So 7 cosine 180 plus 13, will it be equal to 6 cosine of 180 degrees plus 12? Okay, so I'll have 7 cosine 180 is negative 1 plus 13, will it be equal to 6? Cosine 180 is negative 1 plus 12. So I'll have negative 7 plus 13. Is it equal to negative 6 plus 12? Okay, negative 7 plus 13 is 6, is equal to 6. Okay, therefore, our answer is correct. Example number 2. Use the interval theta is greater than or equal to 0 degrees but is less than 360 degrees. So we have the equation for tangent theta minus 5 equals negative of the quantity 4 minus 3 tangent theta. Okay, so here we simplify first our equation. Okay, so I'll have 4 tangent theta minus 5 is equal to negative 4, and then negative times negative is positive, so positive 3 tangent theta. Okay, so that I don't get confused, we just let tangent theta be equal to variable a. You may use any variable. So you have 4a minus 5 is equal to negative 4 plus 3a. And then you just solve for a. So 4a minus 3a is equal to negative 4 plus 5. So a is equal to 1. Okay. After solving for a, you have to substitute back tangent theta. Okay, so tangent theta is equal to 1. Now, you determine the value of theta that will make your tangent equal to 1. Okay, so if you look at the table for the 30, 60, 45 degrees, tangent there has a value of 1 when the angle is 45 degrees. Okay, now, since it is positive 1, okay, we determine the quadrant where tangent is positive. Okay, so tangent is positive in quadrants 1 and 3. Okay, so we get the value of our angle, our 45-degree angle in quadrants 1 and 3. Okay, so that would be 45 degrees and 225 degrees. So this will be our solution set. Okay, you may check your answer by substituting them in the given equation. Okay, so this is example number 2. Example number 3. Use the interval theta is greater than 0 degrees and less than 360 degrees. The given equation is 4 sine squared theta is equal to 3. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do is I will let a be equal to sine theta. Okay, take note guys that sine squared theta means sine theta that is being squared. Okay, so my equation will become 4a squared is equal to 3. And then I'll just solve for a. So I divide both sides by 4. So I'll be left with a squared is equal to 3 over 4. 4. Now, how do we solve for a? Okay, we get the square root since it is squared, so that the square root will be cancelled. So my a will become positive and negative square root of 3 over 4, which can be written as square root of 3 over square root of 4. So that would be square root of 3 over square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so this is my a. Now, after getting a, you have to substitute back sine theta. Okay, so I'll have sine theta is equal to positive and negative square root of 3 over 2. Now, you determine in what special angle is sine theta square root of 3 over 2. Very good. So our theta will be 60 degrees. Okay, now, since the signs here are both positive or negative, okay, it means we will get the angles that have a reference of 60 degrees in all quadrants. Okay, in all quadrants because it's positive and negative. So 60 degrees in quadrant 1 is 60. 60 degrees in quadrant 2 is 120. In quadrant 3 is 240. And in quadrant 4 is 300 degrees. Okay, so this will be our solution set. Okay, take note also that the given angles are still included in the given interval. Okay, because they are between 0 and 360. Example number 4. Use theta is greater than equal to 0 and less than 2 pi. For the given equation, 2 cos square theta plus 3 cosine theta plus 1 equals 0. So we know that our answer should be in radian form. Okay, so let's start. Again, we will start by letting a certain variable be equal to our theta function. So again, I will let a be equal to cosine theta. So my equation now will become 2a squared plus 3a plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, and then we have to factor the given quadratic equation. So that would be 2a, then this is a, plus 1 and plus 1 equals 0. So 2a plus 1 is equal to 0. So my 2a is equal to negative 1, or a is equal to negative 1 half. And then the other side, or the other factor, is a plus 1 equals 0. So a is equal to negative 1. So after getting this, we just substitute back cosine theta. So cosine theta is equal to negative 1 half. Then the other one is cosine theta is equal to negative 1. Okay, so after doing that, I'll just rewrite the first one. Cosine theta is equal to negative 1 half. Okay, so you determine the angle that will make theta equal to 1 half. So you go back to your special angles. Okay, so cosine is 1 half at 60 degrees. Okay, and then it is negative. Cosine is negative in quadrants 2 and 3. Okay, now we have to get our angle in radian form. Okay, 60 degrees. So we know that our angle in radian form is 60 degrees if its denominator is 3. Okay, so 30 degrees in quadrant 2. Okay, let us recall our technique. Okay, in quadrant 2, we use denominator minus 1. In quadrant 3, we use denominator plus 1. Okay, so our answer will become 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so this will be our answer for the first one. And then we will do the second part. So cosine theta is equal to negative 1. So we know that cosine is negative 1 in the quadrantal angle, okay, which is 180 degrees. And 180 degrees in radian is 5. Okay, and then we just write our final answer. We have to combine the two angles. Okay, so I'll start with 2 pi over 3, and then pi, and then 4 pi over 2. So this will be my solution set. Take note that when you write your final answers in the solution set, you have to write them from the least value to the greatest value. Okay, so this is example number 4. You may check your answer by substituting them in the given equation. Okay, question number 5. Use theta that is greater than or equal to 0, but is less than or equal to 2 pi. So the given equation is cosecant squared theta is equal to 2. Okay, so again, I will let A be equal to cosecant theta. So my equation will become A squared is equal to 2. Okay, so I can solve for my A by getting the square root of both sides. Okay, so my A will become positive and negative square root of 2. So after getting that, we have to bring back cosecant theta or substitute back cosecant theta. So cosecant theta is equal to positive or negative square root of 2. And then you go back to to our special angles, the table for the special angle. So there you will get that, or you will know that cosecant has a value of square root of 2 when our angle is 45 degrees. Okay, now, since the given is in positive or negative, so it means it's present in all the quadrants. Okay, in quadrants 1 to 4. Okay, so what will be the value of our theta? Okay, so that will be 45 degrees. Okay, so 45 degrees, we know that our denominator should be 4. Pi over 4 is 45 degrees. Now, in all quadrants, okay, so we have to recall the technique that we use. Okay, so if it's 45, we know that all our denominators are 4. Okay, and then we just use the recall the table. Okay, I'll just write down the table here. Okay, so this is quadrant 2. For quadrant 2, we use denominator minus 1. Here in quadrant 3 is denominator plus 1. In quadrant 4 is twice the denominator minus 1. Okay? Since our denominator is 4, 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 4 times 2 minus 1 is 7. So our solution set will now be pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, Okay, so this will be our final answer. Again, you may substitute them in the given equation for you to check if they are correct. So this is example number 5.
We the hungry demand a better burger. One that's made to order and hand smashed into greatness. America, this is your smash no burger. The Sonic Smasher.
Okay, example number 6. We use theta that is greater than equal to 0 degrees but is less than 360 degrees. And then the given equation is cosine theta, sine theta minus sine theta is equal to 0. So if you will notice in our example, we have two legal functions. Okay, now, if you are familiar with substitution, we have to substitute one of them as a certain variable. Okay, since we have two functions, I can substitute one using a. So let's say I will let a be equal to my cosine theta and b will be my sine theta. Okay, by the way guys, if you are familiar with just factoring using the table functions, you may do so. Okay, if you don't want to uh, substitute them with a certain variable, you may do so. Okay, so this will become a, and then sine is b. So ab minus sine is b is equal to 0. Okay, then I have a common factor which is b. So I'll have a minus 1 is equal to 0. So I'll have b is equal to 0 and the other one is a minus 1 is equal to 0. So solving for a, my a is equal to 1. And then I will substitute back my b. Okay. So I know that my b is sine. So sine theta is equal to 0. And then the other one is a. I know that my a is equal to cosine. So cosine theta is equal to 1. Okay, now let us identify. In what angle or angles is theta equal to 1? Equal to 0. Okay, very good. So sine is 0 at 0 degrees, 180 degrees, and 360 degrees. Okay, now, but if you look at the given interval, we just have theta equal to 0. Okay, so we cannot have 360. Okay, now let's go to the second part. So cosine theta is equal to 1. So in what angle is cosine equal to 1? Okay, so that would be in 0 and 360 degrees. But then 360 is not included in the interval. So our final answer will be just 0 and 180 degrees. Okay, so this will be our answer. Number 6, again, we may substitute it in the given equation to check. Okay, example number 7. So we just use the interval theta between 0 and 2 pi, inclusive of 0 and 2 pi. And then the given equation cosine theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. Okay, now let's try solving this without substituting a certain variable for them. Okay, so let's just practice that. So this is equal to cosine theta. I'll just transfer 2 sine theta on the other side. So 2 sine theta cosine theta is equal to 0. And then you will see the common factors, which is cosine theta. So you factor out cosine theta, So that would be 1 minus 2 sine theta is equal to 0. Okay, since it is factored already, we may equate each factor to 0. So cosine theta is equal to 0, and the other factor is 1 minus 2 sine theta is equal to 0. Then I'll just solve for sine. So negative 2 sine theta is equal to negative 1. Then I divide both sides by negative 2, so that I will be left with just sine theta, which is equal to positive 1 half. Okay, now let us get the values. The first one is cosine theta is equal to 0. So in what angle is theta equal to 0? Okay, so cosine is 0 along the y-axis. So that would be pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. You recall your quadrantal angles. Okay, so that would be pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, or 90 and 270 degrees. Okay, now let's go to the other one, which is sine theta is equal to 1 half. Okay, now you go to our special angles. Sine is 1 half at 30 degrees. Okay, and it is positive in quadrants 1 and 2. Okay, now for the sine, okay, you recall the cast rule. Okay, so sine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Now, what is 30 degrees in quadrant 1? So that would be 30 degrees. 30 degrees in quadrant 2 is 150 degrees. Then you have to have our answers in radian form. So 30 degrees in radian form is pi over 6. In quadrant 2, that would be 5 pi over 6. Recall, quadrant 2 is denominator minus 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. And then we just make a summary of our answers. Okay, so the least is pi over 6. Then pi over 2. Followed by 5 pi over 6. And 3 pi over 2. Okay, so this is our answer for question number 7.
You know what's smart? Dinner on autopilot. Eat smart with Factor.
Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss the two-point form equation of the line. So we use this one if we're given 2 points. It is given in the form y minus y sub 1 equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times the quantity x minus x sub 1. You take note that the y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is the slope of the line. Okay? So it is similar to the point slope form. Find the equation of the line given 2 points. Express your equation in general form with integer coefficients. So let's start with example number 1. A line that is passing through the points 0, 0, and 2, 5. Okay, so it is given the points 0, 0, and 2, 5 are represented by x sub 1, y sub 1. So 2 is our x sub 2, 5 is our y sub 2. Okay, and then we use our formula y minus y sub 1 equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1. Then we will just substitute. Our y sub 1 is 0. Our y sub 2 is 5 minus 0 over x sub 2 is 2 minus x sub 1 is 0 times x minus x sub 1, which is 0. Okay, and then we will just simplify. So y minus 0 is y, 5 minus 0 is 5, 2 minus 0 is 2, and then I'll copy x minus 0 is x. Okay, and then the next thing that we have to do is to get rid of our denominator, which is 2. So I'll multiply both sides by 2. So the 2 here will be cancelled. So I will be left with 2y is equal to 5x. And then we write the equation in general form, meaning it is equated to 0. So I will have 5x minus 2y is equal to 0. So I will transpose my 2y on the right side. Okay, so this will be my final answer. Example number 2, passing through the points 4, -3, and -1, 5. Okay, so this again represents our x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. And then we will just use the formula. Y minus y sub 1 equals the slope, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1. So we'll have y minus -3 equals 5 minus -3 over -1 minus 4 times x minus x sub 1 is 4. Okay, then we'll just simplify first. So this will become y plus 3 equals 5 minus -3 will become 5 plus 3. Okay, 5 plus 3 is 8. This will become -5 x minus 4. Okay, so from here we can multiply both sides by we can try -5. So -5 here will be cancelled. Okay, and then we will just distribute -5. So this will become -5 times y, and then -5 times 3. So -5y minus 15 equals, in this one, since -5 is cancelled, okay, we will just distribute 8. So we will have 8x minus 8 times 4, which is 32. Okay, and then I'll just transpose everything on my right side. Okay, so my equation now will become 0 equals 8x plus 5y minus 32 plus 15, which is equal to 8x plus 5y. -32 minus 15 is -17, so equals 0. Then we'll just use the symmetric property of equality. So 8x plus 5y minus 17 is equal to 0. So this will be my final answer.
Example number 3. Passing through the points 1, -6, and 1/2, -3/5. So if you will notice, our second point has coordinates that are fractions. Okay, so let's start by labeling the points. So this will be my x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Then we will start by writing down the formula. So y minus y sub 1 equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1. So y minus, my y sub 1 is -6 equals y sub 2 is -3/5 minus y sub 1 is -6 over my x sub 2 is 1/2 and minus x sub 1 which is 1 times the quantity x minus x sub 1 which is 1. Okay, so we will simplify it first. So we will have y plus 6 equals, okay, so we get the LCD of our numerator. So the LCD is 5. So I'll have -3 plus, because it's negative and negative, it will become plus. So 5 times 6 is 30 over the LCD of my denominator is 2. So I'll have 1 minus 2. Okay, and then I'll just copy x minus 1. So I'll just simplify. Y plus 6 equals -3 plus 30 is positive 27 over 5. Okay, all over -1 over 2 times x minus 1. Hanson's knows that your home is a place of comfort and protection. That's why our durable, energy efficient, and weather resistant windows, roofing, siding, and gutters, as well as our bathtubs and showers, are guaranteed. With 35 years experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, we're your trusted home improvement expert. Get 50% off installation, special financing available. Call 1-800-HANSONS. Get it done.
Okay, and then we will simplify it further. So this will become y plus 6 equals 27 over 5 times reciprocal of negative 1/2 is still negative 2 over 1. Okay, so this one, guys, the denominator, you just get the reciprocal. Okay, but you copy the sign. So times x minus 1. Okay, so I will have, let me just erase the first part. So I'll have space in writing the solution. Okay, so let's continue. I'll just use an orange ink. So I'll have y plus 6 is equal to 27 times -2 is -54 over 5 times x minus 1. Okay? So the next thing that we have to do is to get rid of 5. So we multiply both sides by 5. Okay? So the 5 here will be cancelled. And the 5 here should be multiplied to each term inside. So I'll have 5y plus 30 is equal to, then I'll distribute -54.
So negative 54x plus 54. Okay. Now, since my x is negative 54, or the coordinates of my x is negative 54, I will transpose all my terms on the right side. Okay, because that is easier for me. So I'll have 54x plus 5y plus 30 and then minus 54 equals 0. Okay, then we'll just simplify 54x plus 5y, and then 30 minus 54 is negative 24 equals 0. So this will be my final answer. Good day, class. For this week, we will be discussing solving trigonometric equations. So when we say trigo equations, these are equations wherein terms are trigo functions. For example, 2 sine x minus 1 is equal to 0, cosecant squared x is equal to 2, and cosine x is equal to sine 2x. Okay, so aside from the given equation, you will also be given certain intervals. Okay, wherein your answers are based on the given intervals. Here, our angle x can be between 0 and 360, inclusive of 360. It can be between 0 and 2 pi, inclusive of 0. Or other examples such as between pi and 2 pi, inclusive, and between 90 and 270, inclusive. These are just some examples for intervals. Okay, so before we go in solving trigo equations, let us recall the following first. Okay, so I have here cosine 30, 150, 210, and 330. Okay, so if you will notice, these are their respective values. Now, how do we get the values? All of the angles given have reference angle of 30 degrees. They just vary in the sign. Two of them are positive and two of them are negative. Okay, so cosine 150 and 210, they are in quadrants 2 and 3, wherein cosine is negative. That's why it's negative square root of 3 over 2. The other two are positive because cosine is positive in quadrant 1 and in quadrant 4. Okay? So this is the before. Okay? This is our previous lesson. Our lesson for this week is about this. Okay? First, you're given a certain interval. So take note of the equal sign, which angles are included. For example, we're given cosine theta is equal to square root of 3 over 2. So how do you find the value of theta? Okay, first you have to determine the reference angle and the quadrant. Okay, so I know that cosine is square root of 3 over 2 at 30 degrees. And since it is positive, cosine is positive in quadrants 1 and 4. Okay, so here I can solve for my theta. 30 degrees in quadrant 1 is 30, and 30 degrees in quadrant 4 is 330. Okay, so these are the answers for number 1. So let's have more examples. So example number 2, tangent x is equal to 0, and x is between 0 and 360 degrees, inclusive of 360 degrees. Okay, so let us recall first, where is tangent 0? Okay, so you will not find this in the 30, 60, and 45 degree table. Therefore, the answer here will be a quadrantal angle. Okay, so you look at the table for the quadrantal angles and you will see that tangent is 0, if the angles are lying on the x-axis. Okay, so what are the quadrantal angles on or along the x-axis? So that would be 0, 180, and 360 degrees. Okay, but then if you will look at the given interval, 0 is not included. Okay, so we get rid of 0. Therefore, we only have two values. And we write our solution as solution set consisting of 180 and 360 degrees. So this is example number 2. Example number 3. Sine theta is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. And theta is between 0 and 2 pi. So using the table, I will know that sine has a value of square root of 2 over 2 if my angle is 45 degrees. And sine is negative in quadrants 3 and 4. Now, since the given interval is in radian, 45 degrees should be in radian. And we know that it is in 45 degrees radian form if the denominator is 4. So that would be pi over 4. Now, let us recall. In quadrant 3, we use the technique denominator plus 1. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And then in quadrant 4, it's 2b minus 1. So 2 times 4 is 8 minus 1 is 7. So our solution set for number 3 are 5 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. Good day everyone. This week we will be discussing equation of a line. So there are two forms of a line. The first one is the general form, which is in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And then the second one, which is the standard forms of a line, these are used in getting the equation of a line. So we have the point slope form, 2-point form, slope intercept form, and the intercept form. The point slope form is given by the equation or formula y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. The 2-point form is similar to the first form. Okay? You just solve for the m. The only difference is the m, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. The slope-intercept form is used when you're given a slope and the y-intercept. So m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And lastly, the intercept form is x over a plus y over b equals 1. We use this when the given are x-intercept, which is a, and the y-intercept, which is b. So let us start with the first one, which is the point slope form. So we use this when the given are the slope, which is m, and a point, which is represented by x sub 1 and y sub 1. So the formula is given by y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Example number 1. Find the equation of the line satisfying the following conditions. Express the answer in general form with integer coefficients. Okay, so the given in number 1 is the line has a slope of 2/3 and is passing through negative 1, 5. So the given are the slope, which is 2/3, and the point negative 1, 5. So in this case, negative 1 is our x sub 1, 5 is our y sub 1. So we will be using the formula y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. So we simply substitute what we have, which are, so copy y minus our y sub 1 is 5 equals, our slope is 2/3 multiplied by x minus our x sub 1 is negative 1. Okay, so this is our working equation. We just have to simplify it. So this will become y minus 5 equals negative 2/3, or I mean 2/3. Should be positive 2/3 times x, negative times negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, and then we will just distribute 2/3. So this will become y minus 5 equals 2/3 x plus 2/3. Okay, so if you notice, we have a fraction, or we have fractions in the equation. So we have to get rid of the denominator, which is 3, by simply multiplying each term by 3. So our new working equation now will become 3y minus 15 equals 2x plus 2, because the 3 here will be cancelled out and the 3 here will be distributed. Okay, and then it says express the answer in general form. So when we say general form, all terms should be in one side only. Okay, so this will become, since my 2x here is positive, I'll put all terms on the right side. So I'll have 2x minus 3y, copy 2, then plus 15 is equal to 0. And then we will just simplify. So 2x minus 3y, and then 2 plus 15 is 17. Okay, and then I will just rewrite it. So it's equal to 2x minus 3y plus 17 is equal to 0. So this will be my final answer. Example number 2. The given are, the slope is negative 3 over 5. So this is our m. And it passes through the point negative 4, negative 2. Our x sub 1 and y sub 1. So we will start by writing the formula. So y minus y sub 1 equals n times x minus x sub 1. And then we will just substitute. So y minus, our y sub 1 is negative 2 equals, our slope is negative 3 over 5 multiplied by x minus, our x sub 1 is negative 4. Okay, so this will become y plus 2 is equal to negative 3 over 5. X minus negative 4 will become x plus 4. Okay, and then here I can distribute the fraction, or I can multiply it by 5. Okay, whichever is easier for you. So I can just write y plus 2 is equal to, and then I will distribute this one to both of them. Okay, so I'll have negative 3 over 5x. Okay, and then negative 3 times 4 is 12 over 5. Okay, then we have to get rid of our denominator. Okay, so our denominator is 5. So we multiply each of the term by 5. So multiply 5 here. here. And then the 5 here will be cancelled. Okay, so our equation now will become 5y plus 10 is equal to negative 3x minus 12. Okay, since my x is negative, so I'll just put everything on the left side so that my x will become positive. So I will have 3x, copy 5y, copy 10, then this will become plus 12 equals 0. So I'll have 3x plus 5y, then combine 10 plus 12 is 20 equals 0. Okay, so this will be my general form of my equation of the line. Example number 3. So our slope is negative 7. So this is our m. And it passes through negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 here is our x sub 1. And 1/3 is our y sub 1. Okay, so again, we'll start with the formula. So y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Then we will just substitute. Y minus our y sub 1 is 1/3 equals m, which is negative 7, times x minus our x sub 1 is negative 1/2. Okay, and then we'll just simplify. So y minus 1/3 is equal to negative 7. So this will become x plus 1/2. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do is that I will distribute my 7 here. Okay, so in short, I'm getting rid of the parentheses. So I'll copy first. Y minus 1/3 is equal to negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times 1/2 is negative 7 over 2. Okay, then the next thing that I have to do is to get rid of my denominators. So what are my denominators? These are 3 and 2. Okay, so you think of the smallest number that is divisible by 3 and 2. So that would be 6. Okay, so I will multiply both sides by 6. Okay, and then we'll simplify. Okay, so 6 times y is 6y. 6 times 1/3, so it will become 6. Okay, this will become 6 over 3. And 6 over 3 is equal to 2. So 6y minus 2. Okay, and then I'll copy. So this will become negative 7x times 6. So negative 42x. Okay, and then negative 7 over 2 times 6. So 6 will be cancelled. This will become 1 and this will become 3. So it's equal to negative 21. So minus 21. Okay, then we'll just continue. So if looking at the equation, my negative x is my x is negative. So I'll put this, all of the terms on the left side. So I will have 42x plus 6y. I'll just copy it. Copy minus 2. Okay. And then negative 21 will become plus 21 is equal to 0. So simplify it. 42x plus 6y plus 21 and negative 2 is 19 equals 0. So this will be my final answer. Example number 4. The slope is 6. So that would be our m. And it passes through 5, 0. So this is x sub 1 and y sub 1. Then again, use the formula. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to n times x minus x sub 1. And then we will just substitute. Y minus our y sub 1 is 0 equals m, which is 6. X minus our x sub 1 is 5. Then we'll just simplify. Y minus 0 is y equals, distribute 6. So this is 6 times x and 6 times negative 5. So this will become 6x minus 30. Okay? Since my x term is positive, so I'll put all the terms on the right side. Okay? So this will become 6x minus 30 and then minus y, because I'll put my y on the right side. Then I'll just arrange 6y minus 30 is equal to 0. Then I'll just rewrite it. 6, oops, wait. This one should be x. Okay, so I'll have 6x minus y minus 30 is equal to 0. Okay, what property of equality did I use here? When you interchange a equals b, make it b equals a. What property is this one? Please all remember? Okay, it's the symmetric property. Okay, so this will be our final answer. So this is example number 4. So this is the last example for today. So I'll be giving you some questions to answer using the first standard form of the line. Okay? Then by Wednesday, we'll be discussing the second form. So that will be all for today. Stay safe, everyone. Okay, so let us try to get the derivative of negative 2 sine to the 4th of 3x squared plus x. Okay, so this one can be written as negative 2 times sine of 3x squared plus x raised to the 4th. Okay, so let us now get the derivative. So the derivative is equal to negative 2 times the exponent 4. And then this will become sine of 3x squared plus x. And then 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay. Times the derivative of the one that is inside. So the derivative of sine 3x squared plus x. Okay, so y prime is equal to, I'll just write copy here. Okay, and then let us get the derivative of sine 3x squared plus x. Okay, so the derivative of sine is cosine. So this is cosine of 3x squared plus x. Okay, and then you get the derivative of the angle theta. Okay, so the derivative of 3x squared plus x is 6x plus 1. Okay, so let us just rewrite. So my y prime will become negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Then I will copy 6x plus 1. Okay, and then I'll copy the sine cube of 3x squared plus x. And then copy this one, the derivative, which is cosine of 3x squared plus x. And then we will just simplify, or this can be the final answer actually. So this will become negative 48x minus 8, and then copy sine cube of 3x squared plus x, and then cosine of 3x squared plus x. Okay, so this will be the final answer. If you have any question, feel free to ask me right in the comment section below.
Everyone, so this is week 2 of our class for math grade 8. So for this week, we'll have a review of our past lessons. Let's get started. Example number 1. So in here, we'll be adding two expressions. So what are those steps? Let us recall. Step number 1 is arrange your right term based on their exponents. So we look at the term with the highest exponent. So in this case, it's 13x cubed, followed by minus 27x squared, then plus 16x. The operation condition. So plus negative 19x cubed plus 17x squared plus 21x. So we'll be adding the terms. So 13 plus negative 19 plus negative 6x. Negative 27 plus 17 is negative 10x squared. And 16 plus 21 is positive 37x. So this will be our final answer. So don't forget to box it looking for that. So let's go to example number 2. In example number 2, the operation is subtraction. So if you will notice, there are two variables, which are x and y. So you have to arrange the terms based on the variable x and its exponent. So the highest exponent for x is 2. So start with the term with x squared. So you have to write them. So that would be 15x squared followed by 17xy squared then minus 35. So when we subtract 22xy squared, you write it there because you have the same variables. Then minus 27x squared y, then plus 16. So we're going to subtract those two expressions. Now, in subtraction, you always change the signs of the subtract. So that will be positive. Positive will become negative, and positive 16 will become negative 16. Then you proceed to addition. So 15 plus 27 is 30. Then copy and 31. 17 plus negative 22 is negative 5. Then copy and slide 4. Then negative 35 minus 16 is negative 50. So that will be our final answer. Don't forget to box it. Example number 3. So if you will notice, the terms are already arranged vertically. Again, for subtractor, you have to change the positive 21 will become negative, negative 14 will become positive 14, negative 23 will become positive, and negative 10 will become positive. Then we proceed to addition. Simply we will turn the line and change it on the sign to complement. So we have negative 5, positive 35, positive 10, and negative 6. Then proceed to addition. So you have to add them together. So 8 plus negative 5 is positive 3x squared 4. Now negative 15 plus negative 21 will give you negative 3x. Plus 35 will give you negative 1. So you have negative 1x cubed. But in mathematics, if the number coefficient is a negative 1, we just write it as negative x cubed. Then we repeat it. Negative 24 plus 14 will give you negative 10. Plus 10 will give you 0. So this will become plus 0x squared. So 0x squared is the same as 0. So we will just leave it blank. Next, 3x plus 28x is 26x. And positive 10 plus 26 will give you positive 4. So our final answer is 3x to the 4th minus x cubed plus 27 minus 4. That will be our final answer. Now let's go to example number 4. So in here, we will be adding these expressions. So again, we arrange and rewrite the terms based on their exponents. So our goal was A, with the highest exponent at 3. So we write A cubed, A squared, A, followed by a constant term. So we have negative 25A cubed minus 5A squared plus 28. Then add, so A cubed minus 5A plus 17. Then 9A squared minus 8A minus 32. Negative 25 plus 7 will give you negative 18. Don't cut between 2. Negative 5 plus 9 is positive 4. Copy 3 squared. Negative 5 plus negative 3 is negative 13. Copy 3. Then 28 plus 17 will give us 45. Plus negative 33 will give us positive 2. So we just write here positive 2. So our final answer is 18A cubed plus 4A squared minus 38 plus 2. Then don't forget to box your final answer.
Reveal visibly improved luminous skin in 14 days. New Olay Super Serum Body Wash.
Sana mabuksan na rin ni Sir. Si Sir hindi pa po tapos. Video. Bakit George? Okay, wait. Dapat mag Nilagay ko na siya for 20 minutes. So, bababa ko ng 4 times temperature. Okay, prepare ko lang yun. Okay, while waiting, nagawa tayo ngayon ating morning apple cider vinegar. So, ito yung una ko na cake. And then, itong apple cider vinegar. Super natin. Ganagamit ko ng parang 1 tablespoon. And, maglalagay ako ng electrolyte. This one. Lemonade flavor. Mix. Hindi ko na mag-dissolve yung ano sa electrolytes. My glass straw. Okay, natin siya. temperature is 405. I don't know. 410. So pag nagsak, navigate na natin siya. So let's just wait for a few minutes. 420 na. Game na. Set na siya. So, alright. Temperature timer is 30. Okay. I'm reading. Prepare to go. What's our button? zone. Yung sa Chinese. Parang face na siya. So, pag parang face na siya like this, this one. Okay, mag-uwi tayo ng para sa pandesal. Okay, so half lang yung recipe ko. Kaya ko yung pandesal. Mamaya ko gagawin yung cheese. So, milk. And On purpose.